In a peaceful kingdom, surrounded by tall mountains, lived a young shepherd named Elias. He was gentle, soft-spoken, and spent most of his days guiding his sheep across the green hills. Elias rarely spoke, never boasted, and never demanded praise. When he wasn't watching the flock, he sat on a rock and played his wooden flute, filling the valley with calm and soothing melodies. In the same kingdom lived a soldier named Martin. Unlike Elias, Martin loved noise, attention, and applause. Wherever he went, he loudly told tales of his great bravery, even though he had never actually achieved anything noteworthy. He would shout in the marketplace, "Remember my name. If danger ever comes, only Martin will save this kingdom." People clapped for him, not because he was truly brave, but because his voice was the loudest. One day, real danger appeared. A huge wolf was seen near the mountains. At night, it crept close to the village, breaking into barns and frightening families. Fear spread everywhere. The king announced, "Whoever solves this problem will be rewarded greatly." Martin rushed forward and declared, "Your Majesty, don't worry. I alone can handle this wolf. Give me soldiers, and I'll protect the entire kingdom." People cheered for him again. His confidence impressed them, even though they had never seen him fight. Elias stood quietly in the corner. He had lived in the mountains his whole life. He knew the paths wolves took, their fears, and their behavior. But he didn't speak. He simply observed. Night came, and so did the wolf. Martin and his soldiers stood ready. But the moment the wolf sensed the noise and lights, it ran away. The next morning, Martin proudly announced, "I drove it off. See, only I can protect you." People clapped again. But the wolf returned the next night. And the next. And the next. The village grew tired and hopeless. Finally, Elias stepped forward. He quietly said, "Let me go alone tonight." The king frowned. "How will you defeat the wolf without soldiers?" Elias replied softly, "Not every problem is solved by force, Your Majesty." Something in his tone made the king trust him, so he agreed. That night was the turning point. Elias walked alone into the mountains, carrying his flute and a small bag of food. He waited in silence where the wolf was known to appear. The wind howled, leaves rustled, and then glowing eyes appeared in the darkness. The wolf approached slowly, growling. Instead of lifting a weapon, Elias lifted his flute. He began to play a gentle melody. The wolf stopped. Its growl faded. It lowered its head. Elias saw it clearly now. The wolf was injured. It wasn't attacking out of hunger or rage. It was hurt, scared, and desperate. Elias tossed a piece of bread near it. The wolf sniffed it and ate. He played the flute again. The melody was calm. No fear, no aggression, only kindness. After a few minutes, the wolf turned and limped back toward the deep forest. It never returned to the village again. The next morning, the king and villagers were shocked. Elias didn't boast. He didn't explain. He simply returned to his sheep. But the king sent scouts into the mountains. They found the wolf's tracks, leading away from the village, deeper into the wilderness. Everyone realized the truth. The king announced, "Real courage is quiet. True strength lies not in shouting, but in understanding." Martin stood speechless, humiliated. Elias bowed politely and said only one line, "Force doesn't solve everything. Sometimes kindness is the greatest strength." Not every problem needs power or noise. Sometimes patience, empathy, and quiet wisdom can solve what force never can.